Today I'd like to talk to you about improving your organization's bottom line. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to start off with asking you a question that many business owners, including myself, have asked many times before. That is, how do I get more sales? Now, what I'd like to also do is challenge you to a different question, and that is, how do I get more revenue? The reason that I talk about revenue as opposed to just sales is because when you talk about revenue, you open up a whole different box of options that you may not have if you're talking about sales. So I want to briefly touch on those and what I consider the foundation of increasing your revenue. So let me talk about what I consider to be really the 4 foundations of increasing your revenue. The first way is by obviously increasing the number of customers that you have. The second way is increasing the number of transactions that you have. The third way is to increase the value of those transactions. And finally, the fourth way is to increase your price. So let's touch upon the first way, increasing the number of customers. Now, this is normally the way that most people think when they think about how do I increase sales? I have to have more customers. Well, let me tell you, that's a great way in order to do it. But there are a few things that you have to be aware of when you're looking at increasing your customers. Ask yourself a few questions. How is that going to affect my bottom line? Will I have to hire more salespeople? Will I need to have more support people? So a lot of times when you increase the number of customers that you have, you're also increasing the actual amount of expenses that you have. So keep that in mind when you think about increasing customers. So the second way that we can actually increase our revenue is by increasing the frequency of transaction. Now, what I mean by frequency of transaction, it means that let's get people to purchase more from us more frequently. So for example, let's say you own a restaurant and you have diners that are generally visiting the restaurant maybe once a week. Well, what can you do to get them to come twice a week? Maybe you have loyalty programs, maybe you have dinner specials, lunch specials, different things like that, so that you're going to have the same clients, but you're also going to have them coming back more frequently. That's going to increase your revenue too. So let's take a look at number 3, and that is increasing the value of a transaction. Now, give me an example of what you might consider to be increasing the value of a transaction. Well, let me tell you, here's a perfect example. Let's say you own a menswear shop, and a client comes in and they initially buy a suit. Well, that's going to be just one transaction and a smaller transaction than if you take that and you say, let me add a pocket square, a tie, shoes, and socks. And so now all of a sudden that one transaction is much larger. And so you can increase the value of the transaction without having to go through all the other troubles, for example, when you're trying to get new clients. So the final way that you can increase your revenue is by actually increasing your prices. Now, wait a minute, don't start throwing things at me through the camera, because I know that that's a very controversial thing to say, but I can tell you, I guarantee you can raise your prices if you show perceived value and true value to your clients. Let me give you another example using a restaurant. If your clients really enjoy and perceive a value of organic ingredients, then use the organic ingredients and charge more than what your supplier cost would be. Once you do that, you can increase your prices. They will see the value, both perceived and real. So I challenge you, don't be afraid to increase your prices. You can do it. So today I hope I've inspired you to take a look at what you want to do to increase your revenues and not just your sales. Because when you take a look at increasing revenues, you really open up your business to a whole box of different strategies and tactics that can work for your business. So once again, thank you for joining me today. My name's Dan Zwerski. And please stay tuned for future episodes on how to build your business, market effectively, and really increase your bottom line. Thank you.